Okay, this is two brothers too deep. These are the things that we talk about, that we can talk about without any holds barred. And we can go as deep and as wide as we want without any filter. So what we're looking at today is, how do we know God talks to us? And why would God talk to us? And we've just listened to conversations we've got, book one, and the first few chapters, and it's one of the few things that shocked me when I first started listening to the series many years ago. And now, because I've been on the journey and I've been on the diet for so long, this for me, it's like, of course God talks to you. Of course God talks to us. Why wouldn't God talk to us? What do you expect? What is different, But when I look at when I begin to remember where I came from, the first thing you have to overcome is this feeling that you're not worthy. This feeling that you're not worthy, that God will even want to talk to you. God. And really and truly, all I can do is maybe try and share with you the difference between me then and me now. And again, this is too deep, so no filter. I'm not going to hold it back. The first thing I know is then was that I saw God as an entity that was separate from me. I saw God as an entity that was different from me. I saw God as an entity that had a different agenda from my agenda and shouldn't care about my agenda. So there was that disconnect. But after being on this diet for over 5 years, I believe, I can say that I don't see God as separate from me. As a matter of fact, now I have the understanding that I am God and God is me. And the reason why I am God and God is me is that I am an individuation of God. God, you that you're watching me now, maybe you know it or not, you realize that or not, you are an individuation of God. So you want to, an helpful analogy is this: if you get a spoon of ocean water out of the ocean, will you be wrong to call that spoon of ocean water ocean water? But it's not the ocean. So God is the ocean. We are individuations of God, and God actually experiences his Godhead through us. So from God's perspective, whenever you say that you are God, God says yes. Whenever you say you're God, God says yes, you're God. It's like, another way to look at it again is that if your son comes to you and says, I am you, you'll be like, yeah, at some level you are me. A creator can only create creators. A creator can only create creators. A God can only give birth to gods. So the difference, though, is that our consciousness carry levels of remembrance. So this consciousness might say, I'm not God. This consciousness might say, this consciousness says, I'm not God. Guess what God says? Yes. This consciousness says, I'm a bit God. Guess what God says? Yes. This one says, I am fully God. Guess what God says? Yes. All God says is yes. Because the only thing the universe is designed to do is really say yes.
Okay, so you have gone deep there.
I'm not even trying to go deep.
God's so deep there that I'm sure you've lost a lot of people already. So
go on.
one of the statements you said is that before, when we were communicating with God, you did not believe that you and God were one.
Yeah.
And which we can discuss that, because coming from a religious mindset and a religious upbringing, we're taught about sin. That sin is what separates you from God.
First thing is
You
this.
have to be holy first, before you can be one with God.
Okay. Again, this is too broad, too deep, so I'm just going to go for it. I'm not even going to put it in any filter. Religion is different from spirituality. One of the things I've learned on this journey, and even got done this conversation with God said it, is forget religion, embrace spirituality. Because you find that at the root of religion, there's always a motive of control. And God is not interested in controlling anybody. He's not interested in controlling anybody's time. He's not interested in controlling anybody's money. He's not interested in controlling anybody's movement.
So God is not a government or an institution.
Thank you.
Okay.
So anytime you find someone, and that is why it's very important, we heard it there, God is about free will. God is about free will. That is the promise that he said he's never going to take away. So whenever you find anything taking you away from free will, either by coercion, by fear, by manipulation, by anything, that is not the universe. Now, the tricky part is this. Is the universe going to punish anybody for manipulating you, for tricking you, for incarcerating you? No. The reason is because that is part of free will from the universe's perspective. Part of your free will is to succumb to manipulation. And part of the free will is their will to manipulate you.
So you are exercising your free will when you allow yourself to be manipulated.
Absolutely.
And it's part of their free will to be able to manipulate you.
Manipulate you. Because part of you being a god is that nothing can happen to you in this universe without your consent.
Which is a very, very...
Thank you. Look, your consent can come from many levels. Your consent can come consciously, subconsciously, superconsciously.
What are the difference?
Well, again, conscious can be split into different levels. Conscious is like, you know what you want to do, but you're undecided. That's one level of consciousness. Another one is that you don't even know that you should do something. That's another level of consciousness. Another level is, you know you should do something, you want to do it, but you're not doing it. That's another level of consciousness. And there's one that you know what to do, you want to do it, and you're doing it. That's another level of consciousness. So all that melee of consciousness is the one that you actually are aware of. Then there is the let me go for the superconscious. The superconscious is the perspective of ultimate reality and your soul. Your soul already knows everything. Your soul knows why you're here, what you've come to achieve. Your conscious mind might not. So a decision can be made from that level that your conscious mind does not know about. And so it will look like things are happening to you without your approval, but you've approved it at the superconscious level. Yeah. Then the middle, the subconscious level is,
so we're talking about good and bad things.
Yes, good and bad things, both things. But from the perspective of the universe, though, there's no good and there's no bad. It's the same. It's just like saying that there cannot be any light without darkness.
Okay. So if you get robbed, or if you're a victim of rape, if you're a victim of whatever, no, you have consented that on your super conscious level.
Yes, because part of what you've come to do is to experience.
So you chose to get raped.
Again, you see, when you put it that way, it sounds like a cop-out. But when you look at it, because again, you're just looking at that incident. Who knows what that incident will set into motion for the person that went through it, for the perpetrator, and for both of them going forward. That person, so who knows what, again, we can't say something is good or bad at this level. So to make it easy for everybody, let's just keep it this way. Let's say at the at the ultimate reality, that's the word I'm looking for. At ultimate reality, there's no wrong and there's no right. At the relative reality, by definition, relative, we can say there's wrong or right. However, it will do us good to be appreciative and conscious of the super and ultimate reality while we're in relative reality. Does that make sense?
Yes, to help us put things into perspective.
To help us, not only to help us put things into perspective, and to help us suffer less.
Not lose our minds.
Yeah.
For a mental state. Okay.
So in relative reality, there are people that I don't talk to, there are people that I don't want to see, there are people that I don't like. But in ultimate reality, I know that I love all of them.
Okay.
I might not go and tell them in relative reality that I love you. But I know that without a shadow of a doubt, all of them like this, I love them perfectly in ultimate reality, but I don't get them twisted. Do you understand what I'm saying? And that understanding.
How do you not get them twisted?
I do not get them twisted because I realize that they're going through their journey as well. And they're going through their journey of remembrance. You cannot go and impose your understanding on someone that doesn't understand. They need to get there. So a dog that is scared and is rabid and is going to bite anyone that puts their hand, and you're going to say, oh, I love you, and put your hand in his mouth. No, fucking bite your hand off. Now, you're going to now blame that rabid dog for biting you. Doesn't understand. Now, I'm not using a dog or snake. Snake has gone like this. And you're like, oh, no, no, no. I'm thinking, actually, there was one day I was playing with a cat. I think I've told you this before. And I was going like this with the cat. And the cat looked at me. The cat looked at me. And the cat went like this. And I was like, and the cat went like this. I went like, all I just saw was blood. I just saw blood.
The speed.
Honestly, I didn't even see it. And the cat was looking at me, still looking at me.
Like, you do know you're moving in slow motion, right? You think you're moving fast, but you do know you're moving in slow motion.
So, cut long story short, I experienced that. That's part of my experience in life. So, some people are at a level where they can only hurt you. Even when they don't intend to hurt you, they can only hurt you. So it behooves you not to put yourself in the position where they're going to hurt you.
Wow. That's deep. So some people are in a position that they can only hurt you.
That's all they can do.
And it's not about you trying to straighten them out. When all you can do is hurt you. So it's for you to give them the space they need to grow beyond that spot.
Yeah. And for you to be able to appreciate that they might never go beyond that.
Wow.
Because that's part of their free will.
Wow. That's powerful.
So that explains to you why I'm moving the way I'm moving nowadays. And I'm restricting certain access to me. Because it's not for them to control that. It's not for them to control that. They don't know. They don't know any better.
Because the consent is yours to give and to remove. So talk about a bit about the unconscious consent, because you covered conscious and super conscious. The unconscious one.
The unconscious is the midway between what you have decided in ultimate reality to come and do and what you have managed to remember in your relative reality. So the subconscious is almost like a bridge. So you're doing things between both of them but it's outside the realm of your conscious. So it might manifest through dreams, it might manifest through hunches, it might manifest through instincts. You just know to do this, or you just know to not to do that, or you just sense this, you just sense that. You get what I'm saying? You don't know why. So I'll put all that in the subconscious realm where it's not come into your functioning mind yet, but it still informs your movement. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah.
You have certain instincts.
Yeah.
That is driving your conscious.
Yeah.
And are those instincts something that you've decided in the
super conscious?
Super conscious.
Yeah. Because again, you see, I believe what we've all done is we've all decided we've come to do certain things. But when we get to relative reality, we forget. We forget what we've come to do. And then there's so many things in relative reality that distracts us from what we've come to do. And I was actually telling my children this morning something along this line, that I told them that they should find what and why they've come to the earth. They should make that. You're laughing. Well, my children are used to me going deep.
That is a serious assignment. That even the 70-year-old is like, if you ask our mom, which was 83.
My children are so used. My children are used to me that when I told Rika that, Rika said some days ago, Rika said something like, yeah, Dad, but that's the point. It's hard. Then we both laughed about it.
I remember. So we have relative reality.
Yeah.
Then you have what did you call it?
Ultimate
reality. So ultimate reality is the supreme reality.
Yeah.
And relative reality is the one you're in right now.
Yeah.
And the assignment is to find out what your mission is on
reality. Yeah. Yeah. Because you've come to experience something. As a matter of fact, the way to look at it is this: relative reality is not actually even lower than ultimate reality. If you look at relative reality as lower, then you've got it all wrong. Relative reality is just as powerful and as relevant and as full as ultimate reality.
Wow. Because
the reason why you came to relative reality is because there are things that you can experience only in relative reality, and you cannot experience that same thing in ultimate reality. So ultimate reality, you have to leave ultimate reality to come to relative reality to experience these things. Wow. Like someone lying to you, like someone beating you up, like someone chasing you, like fear, like greed, like hunger. All these are just concepts in ultimate reality. They're not experienceable in ultimate reality. You can only come here to experience it. So when you're coming here from ultimate reality, you're excited. You're super excited for the privilege to come and experience.
So for the privilege to be lied to.
Yeah.
To be manipulated.
Yeah. Someone to divorce you and you go.
someone to defraud you. Take all your money.
Someone to shoot your brains out.
So someone to put you into slavery.
Yes.
Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. So not only are you looking forward to it, you're very excited to it.
Yes.
You chose to be there. You chose to experience
it because this is the secret. Because you know you are God and you can never die. You know that you can't be destroyed. But you only knew that in ultimate reality.
Wow.
And what we're doing now is remembering. We're remembering that, I can't really die, Then when you start getting to that, from that perspective, that, and you start actually understanding and you start moving that, I can't really die. Even someone walks in here and shoots my brain, my body dies, but my consciousness is alive. And my consciousness is the real me. And what is my consciousness? My consciousness is not even in this dimension. They go, okay. Then it makes sense that you can't really hurt yourself. Then it makes sense that no matter what you mess, if you let 1 million guys sleep with you and they destroy your body, it's just your body. Might mess with your mind a bit.
There's always a price to pay, right?
There's always a price to pay. But that's part of the experience, though.
Knowing this, paying that price.
Yeah. That's
Knowing
part of
this,
it.
or discovering there's a price to pay.
Yeah.
And because this might sound really strange, because when you talk to women, they're so scared of men having sex with them through their anus, especially Black women.
For real.
It's a big taboo with them.
For real.
And I've heard a couple tell me that, oh, I don't want to be wearing nappies, and you see a lot of white women really enjoy it, or the ones not that I've experienced, I don't kiss and tell, but a lot of them, give you the impression that there's something that they go for. And so that I don't even know why I went into that, but
no, go. This is too deep. No
price,
hold back.
They feel like that's the price they're not willing to pay,
and they're correct.
And they don't even care how pleasurable it might be.
Yeah, they're correct. You see, again, now we're coming into relative terms and relative world. We're creators. That woman believes that is what it's going to lead to. That's what's going to lead to.
Wow.
If she doesn't believe it, and she believes that it's going to be pleasurable for her, and nothing's going to happen to her, that's exactly what's going to happen. It's going to be pleasurable for her, and nothing's going to happen to her. Because again, you create again, relative reality, really. Now, it doesn't happen like that, but we create what we want. I was telling my daughter this morning that this is two brothers, two dicks, yeah? I was telling her that if I'm honest, myself and her mom, we were both done with our marriage years before it physically manifested. We've been sending our energy out.
You already are checked out already.
Checked out. She's checked out like 10 years before. This is not joking. I know the year she checked out. I'm not just using the word 10 years. I remember 2005, she came in and she said, I want a divorce.
Wow.
That was the day I knew it was really over. But she still held on, and we finally broke up at 2015. And she even said it twice that year and 2015. And by that time, I had come like, look, I'm like, you know what? Another guy is fucking her anyway, so fuck off. Done.
But my one was slightly different, because that word divorce is something that we are both agreed before we got married, we would never say out loud. But at the same time, it still happened, even if you didn't say it, because we thought not saying it.
Saying is just one level of creation. Thought
is more powerful.
Is where it all starts. Saying it is actually showing that you've thought about it. So by the time my ex-wife told me 2005, I listened. And then I saw how she was moving. By 2016, she was 15, she was done. Now, when I left, she's still saying, oh, how did it happen? But again, that is the level she's at. Because she's at the point where she cannot take responsibility for what she created.
Wow. So that means that when it comes to these things, responsibility, you can never, whatever experience even the fact that you're here shows that you've taken responsibility to be here.
That's it.
That
That's
you're
it.
actually in this relative
Yes,
reality.
yes.
You're not a victim. You didn't get here
No,
by walking into the wrong door.
no.
Walking into the-
You chose to come. You chose to
you
come.
know, like when you see a baby, you feel like, oh, well, this one just stumbled into the wrong
The
room.
place, And I'll
So,
tell you another thing, from God's perspective, everyone is already super successful
and super valid.
for coming here. If you don't do anything else but just come here, spend 80 years and go, as from God's perspective, magnificent, powerful, wonderful, amazing.
You made it.
Amazing.
Because you got to taste food, you got to
That's what I'm saying. So
learn so many things. So it's not about being rich, being poor,
that's for us.
being wealthy, but if you say that's for us, but we not gods.
That again, that's why if you look at it, that's why it's exciting, because we're gods creating among other gods and all agreeing what is hip, what is not hip, and we can all agree it, and we can all, and one of us can disagree, and it still has a space for him.
Which is what Twitter has shown us, how quickly the whole world can disagree on one topic and make your voice heard, or not make your voice heard.
Okay.
And it's okay.
And guess what? The world still goes on.
And everything is still, wow. So that responsibility, you can never run away from taking that responsibility, even though that's something that everybody runs away from. Everybody takes responsibility.
That's part of their free will. For evolution, I would suggest they don't. I would suggest they embrace it. Because part of evolution, part of the...
You're sounding like a guru now. just let you know.
I'm probably Mr. Faisal Guru of Africa. Because again, you can't, it's not about right or wrong or who's succeeding or who's not succeeding. It's about what do you want or what do you want to create. So you can't judge anybody. And just so for the sake of evolution, just like I was saying though, because there are tangible and real benefits for taking responsibility. And those benefits can only be experienced when you take responsibility. If you don't take responsibility, you always be a victim. And being a victim is not about right or wrong. It is a completely different experience. And if you're a victim, then you're suffering. And the only way to stop suffering is to stop being a victim. Again, it's not about right or wrong. It's about, do you want the suffering to stop? I actually ask myself that question nowadays. I'll say, do you want to suffer or don't you? And I make a decision. If I want to suffer, okay. I know I'm the one that wants to suffer.
The choice is yours.
The choice always is yours. Someone comes into this room now with a gun and it says, Mr. Phil, I'm going to blow your brains out. I'm going to ask myself, Mr. Phil, do you want to suffer or not? And what I've learned is this. It's got a gun to my head. It's going to pull the trigger. I'll say, if I want to suffer, I have two ways to go. If I want to suffer, I'll say, okay, yeah, I want to suffer. Then the fear will come. then this shouldn't be happening will come. Then my mind will start fighting me and creating energy that will make the guy dominate me. Or he walks in with a gun and he puts it to my head, and I ask myself, Mr. Phil, do you want to suffer now? I said, no, I don't want to suffer. And then the thought will come, okay, then if you're not going to suffer, then this was meant to happen then. This is happening right on time. That's interesting. So if it's happening right on time, I'm going to experience death. I'm going to experience this gun going off, and I'm going to enjoy the journey of leaving my body. See, in that narrative, because I took control that, okay, this is what's meant to be happening, straight away my mind will be like, okay, this is what's meant to be happening. Okay, so I want to experience this. All right. Now, straight away, the energy I'm giving is different from the energy of fear. Do you get what I'm saying? Even if the guy blows my brain out, I'm going to exit in a different energy.
What about if it blows your brain out and you don't die, but you actually experience
the same thing? Remember,
you experience the pain. Or like what came to mind when you're talking was torture. This is somebody wanted to kidnap you and wanted to torture you. And then you ask your question, do I want to experience pain? Do I want to?
Yeah. Okay. Torture. In a way, that's even easier. That's even easier because when someone is torturing you and you go to a place where you accept fully what is going on, you don't reject it. You accept fully that this is so painful. You accept fully that this is so now this is the mind now. This is where this comes in. You have to accept fully that this is meant to be happening, because the foundation of suffering I found is when your mind is saying this thing that is happening is not meant to be happening.
Because you want it to stop.
Thank you. So your mind will now start fighting you.
Like for it to stop, you need to say no.
Yeah.
Stop.
But the problem is you don't have control over what is causing it. So you now suffer because your mind is saying stop, but you can't stop it because you're not in control of it. But when you're not in control of it and it's happening, and you tell your mind, I fully embrace this pain. It is here just as I want it. I embrace it. What will happen is that your mind will now come alongside you. Yes, the pain will still be there, but at least your mind is not now fighting you. Do you get what I'm saying? Your mind now creates a disconnect between what is happening physically and where you are. And where you are, so your body is completely in pain. But your mind is saying this is what it wants. You understand what I'm saying? So your mind is saying this is what you want. Now you're completely in pain, but you're not suffering.
Is that possible?
I experienced it. Because you see, suffering is the premise that something is happening to you that shouldn't be happening. But if you add to that a perspective that because it is unpleasant doesn't mean it's unwanted. Because it's unpleasant doesn't mean it's unwelcome. Because it's unpleasant doesn't mean it is not wanted. Then you now open yourself up, you now expand your mind to say, okay, after this torture, if I die, I die. I go to a better place. But if I don't die, imagine what it opens up. I can write books, I can do seminars, I can be, you understand what I'm saying? You know?
Well, I've experienced a period of sustained pain when I had my appendix situation. And it was 24 hours pain. And it got to the point where I only had peace when I was sleeping. But if I moved in my sleep, it would wake me up because the pain would kick up again. So it was like, and the pain got so bad at times where it was, you could say that I was numb with pain, because that's all it was. It was just pain all the time. So maybe what I took away from it was that it increased my pain threshold.
Yeah. Now, what, like you said, you took that away from it. But if you had this information, and I will even call it technology that time, which probably is not a good time for you to have it, because you weren't matured enough. You might start trying to use the technology to test this and test that and test this and test that. You know what I'm saying? But if you had this technology then, what you would have just done was to embrace the pain. And when I say embrace the pain, you instruct your mind, which is not you. Your mind is a tool for you to use. Your mind is not you. Your mind is a tool for you to use.
That one is another, we will explore that a bit further. Your mind and you are not the same.
No. Your mind is a tool for your consciousness.
Okay. I know I think we might have covered that already, but
a little bit, yeah.
We definitely need to go on. Sorry.
Unpack that. So what you will now have told your mind is that you will now say that, okay, mind, I want this to happen. I desire this to happen. Yes, it is painful, but I want this to happen because there's something for me to learn here.
And it's amazing because at no point did I think I was going to die.
Okay.
Even though I was critical.
Okay.
But I just knew this is not the end of the story.
Okay. Now, that's another thing why the universe says that you cannot die until you're ready to die. Yeah? You cannot die. So when people die and people go, oh! To be fair, I'm not even.
Well, when we know the person, people go, oh! When we know who they are.
Some people just believe that once that thing happens, that it's time for them to act. You know what I'm saying?
Wailing and
light, stage, action.
This is my chance to really show how I can cry as a person.
Can I go? Can I go? Go. We've seen them, man. They will get the scarf. They will get the scarf.
Unconsolable scarf.
Unconsolable scarf. They wear black. You know, you be like, come on, man. So people just think that death is their cue to do that, but it really is not. It's just someone transitioning.
It should be actually a celebration.
Thank you. Someone transitioning. And what's I agree was
everything we celebrate in this world, that is probably one of the things we should be celebrating the most.
But most people cry not because of the person that is dead. They cry because of death.
When that died, I never cried.
There's no need to cry.
And I was thinking,
what's wrong with you?
Everybody else is crying.
Because you have been real, man. You have been real with yourself. I was
thinking, yeah, why I'm not sad. This guy needed to go.
This guy was suffering.
he tried, didn't he? Let him go and get some rest,
Let him go and get some rest. And again, when I saw Dad and I pulled him, Dad was like this. And I pulled him. I remember telling you that if the way he reacted was like, leave me alone, man. I'm here.
Can you see?
Don't try and wake me up. What's wrong with you?
The resistance was real.
So that was how just, and really and truly, I'm very free with talking about death with my children, not because of I want to be morbid, but because if you don't embrace and learn about death, then you can't learn about life. Death is part of life. And death is not something to fear.
It's not scary.
No.
Fearful, like the angel of death coming.
You see, that's another thing which I've not fully articulated yet. There's the part of the mind which is so powerful and we misuse it every time. Our imagination. Our imagination is so powerful because a lot of our imagination doesn't care whether something is real or not. You will feel it. Let me repeat that. Our imagination does not care whether something is real or not. You will feel it.
You will feel it.
Yeah. If you imagine it, you will feel it. It will happen. It might just happen to you alone. Our imagination is so much that you can be, the cloud of rain can be only on your head while there's sunshine everywhere else.
Wow.
With thunder and lightning only on your head.
Your physical body would respond to it.
Yeah. My goodness. I've had dreams where someone like an animal has slashed my hand and I woke up and I felt, on my body from a dream.
You felt tingles?
Not tingles, pain like some claw.
But that might be a spiritual attack.
Imagination. You see what I mean? Imagination. See what I mean? Imagination. How far do you want to take it? Because from spiritual attack, you now start investigating and using your imagination on this and that, and before you know it, it's all over.
So, so all people are special, not removing responsibility. Some people are willing to listen when it seems okay. Yeah, some people are not willing to listen when it seems wrong.
Yeah.
To God, we listen to God.
You see, again, what he's saying there is that your understanding is limited to what you know. So whatever does not agree with your understanding will seem wrong, no matter to you.
So
You know,
setting aside all assumptions
yeah.
to work in this.
Because if you do not set aside your assumptions, you've already made up your mind on something. So if whatever is presenting itself does not go along with what you've already made up your mind, from your perspective, it's wrong.
So in this dialogue that we're having, that's a key thing, to set aside all assumptions.
Absolutely. Because again, if we talk about space now, our assumption is what we've seen on Star Trek.
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
We see, and what do we see in Star Trek? We see many stars. Like when you get to space, the space is full of this white little thingy. That is what our assumption, because that's what they told us. But when you get to space, all you see is darkness.
You don't see stars?
You can't see stars because stars are suns.
But if you can see them on the earth, why can't you see them in space?
Okay, very good question. And that's where the thing is. You see, the perspective from Earth is different.
Okay.
The perspective and the refractions from, and what you're actually seeing, the stars that you're actually seeing on Earth is actually event that has happened millions of years ago. The light is just getting here.
It's just reaching you now.
Yeah. So
so you're thinking you're just gonna get closer to what is up there. You won't even see anything when you get up there. Just darkness.
And the orientation is completely different, and the laws are completely different.
Wow.
You know?
Wow.
So again, I'm not saying that we are 100% right or correct, but what I'm saying is that your assumptions on so many things are just that, assumptions.
So,
you know,
your assumptions aside,
and test. And one of the things that actually helped with conversations with God was when you see, when I started listening to conversations with God personally, like I told you, my level of fear went down a lot. My fear of death, my fear of what people thought, my fear of the future, my fear of the past, my fear of this. I just noticed that I was less fearful. And because I was less fearful, I was enjoying my life. My capacity to enjoy life grew because I was not afraid.
you weren't letting fear drive your living.
Thank you. So
drive your decisions, drive your taste.
Thank you. So I was enjoying life more. I was getting more free. I was.
We're taught to be fearful.
Okay.
And we're taught to be fearful because we see it as a defensive or a protective shield.
Okay.
Like, oh, don't cross the street until there's a green man. There's a green walking man. Don't do this, don't do that. Don't take this risk. So many fearful.
And you find out that most of those fear is not even for us. It's for the fear is for those people that love us and don't want us to do things that will cause them pain.
Their fear is learned, right? It's learned behavior. Yeah. So because they're fearful of it, you be fearful of it. You don't even know why. They don't know why they're fearful of it.
I was even talking to my children this morning, even to the death of a child. I was talking to them this morning about that. I was like, even that I've got to, as a father, I've got to be willing to let them live and live their journey, even to the point of them losing their life while I'm still alive. I've got to be able to face that without fear. God forbid that happening. Please, God, don't let that happen. But I cannot try and manipulate them and scare them from their journey. Me and my children, we have some deep discussions. No, don't let me call them poor children. There's a reason why they came to, because they get it. They do get it, And people will think, oh, you're talking about death, they're talking about this, they're talking about that. No, if you don't look at it, then you'll be afraid of it, and then your imagination will take over, and things that are not there will start appearing real.
Yeah.
But if you've spoken about it before time, you've settled it before time, when it rears itself, you'll be like, oh, yeah, no. No worry. It'll pass. And your mind will like, oh, I guess it will pass then. Brother, yeah, give me a daddy,
just like is it Voyager, the new Star Trek? No, it's not Voyager. The new Discovery, yes. One of the last episodes was this baby that was born in a hologram and needed to face fear to get out.
Wow.
I don't know if you've seen it.
No, I've not.
So, and he was just talking basically about that, facing your fear, because every time his imagination created the fear, like the most wonderful monster that his imagination can come up with, and it's stopping him from actually getting out of the program, and nobody could do it for him. He had to be the one to do it. Fear.
That is a representation of what we go through. As a matter of fact, this relative reality in a lot of ways is an hologram. Is the holodeck. Do you get what I'm saying? This is our own holodeck.
Which people, because you don't have the understanding to manipulate it as quickly as you want to. You don't believe it.
Yeah.
You can't manipulate it, but you don't have that full understanding. So you're not doing it. You're not saying, cup of tea, and he appears. This, and he does,
And that is why I'm talking about pain and suffering as technology. Because when I feel this now, I feel the pain, but I'm like, I want to feel the pain. So because I want to feel the pain, I'm not suffering. It's not suffering. But the same thing I'm doing, and I'm thinking, I'm not meant to feel that, will now make my mind introduce suffering for you. Are you sure you're okay? Maybe the level of pain that you felt is not meant to be that level. So you need to go and check your doctor to see if your level, and then it goes on like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like that's an abnormal level of pain just for you hitting your hand on plastic. Are you sure you're okay? So your mind will now start creating, but you are the one you are the inceptor. You're the one that says this is not meant to be happening. And your mind says, whoa, I've got billions of things I can add to that.
Remind me of a story I heard about a mother that saw the child had like one spot on one finger, and then and another spot. So they went, okay, let's go. A few days later, they went, let's go to the doctors. And the doctor said, oh, 2 spots, okay. By the time they got to the doctor, there's now 3 spots, like little balls. And before you know it, the doctor said, okay, we'll give him antibiotics, and they started the boy on the antibiotics. Before you know it, the finger is swelling up. Before you know it, they took it back to the doctors. That look at it now, and doctors like, wow, it's gone big, isn't it? You know, it looks like he's gonna have to lose his finger. You know, they took him to a specialist over getting ready to cut off the finger. So the mother just went, nah, you're not losing your finger. She's just like squeezing it. African mothers. She squeezed that thing. The child was usually like, it's gonna hurt. She squeezed it so much, that the pus or whatever was inside was coming out, just sticking it into apple cider vinegar. Before you know it, the thing was healed.
Okay. Guess what happened there? Because the mother said to that child, no, you're not losing this finger, that child agreed. Then the process started. Because the child believed there was a problem because the mother believed there was a problem. And the child started manifesting the problem that the mother believed was there. And it got so bad until the mother said, no, you're not losing this finger. And the child, who's using the mom as the trigger of everything, because mom is trigger. You understand what I'm saying? Mom doesn't know the trigger, and the child doesn't know that mom is trigger. So when mom says, you're not gonna lose this child, the child heard that and was like, okay, I'm not gonna lose you, okay. So, and then the body healed itself. Now, both mom and child does not know that they were the one that created that scenario.
True. But it happens all the time, everywhere, every day.
All the time. Sometimes with mom, sometimes without mom, sometimes on your own, sometimes with your friends, sometimes with your family. It's all suggestion. COVID. What do you think government is doing? Just suggesting. Then some people will really get the COVID. What are people to transmit? You understand what I'm saying?
I haven't gotten the COVID, but they now forcing vaccination through to people.
Yeah.
Whether you got it or not, you need to vaccinate it. So like, I might be actually immune to this COVID. How about
Imagine.
that? No, you can't be immune. You must be vaccinated. So
Also suggestion, they suggest it, and then we do the rest. Our imagination does the rest.
And now it's very powerful. Well, I think that's all the points I had to cover today, sir.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much.
Anytime.
That was a powerful episode, by the way. Very, very powerful one. And yeah, we'll carry on.
All right, sir. Let me end the recording here. We can chat later.